Now, this bike is my bike. The reason we were looking at the TD here is because moments ago, yours truly went in and extracted some cash from the ATM. How much cash? Well, it was enough cash to get me this iPhone. Thanks, God. And that bike. Dear viewer, we're now plunged into a moral crisis, a dilemma of sorts. What's happening is that I'm beginning to sound more and more like a certain gentleman on late night shows or a late night talk show by the name of Colin-Ferguson. What's that, sir?
How are you doing?
I'm making a little tube video for my YouTube channel.
Oh, for your YouTube channel?
Oh, I'm out of here. I'm not here. I'm not here to cause trouble.
Okay, you're not taking any pictures or anything?
Pictures? Why would I take pictures? Oh, of you guys?
Yes.
Oh, no, man. I work for, believe it or not, I work for G4S, man. I'm a trained security guard. I actually work.
You're a different division, though. You're a different division.
Oh, no, I was out in the Scarborough office.
Scarborough office? Yeah. Okay, you're different.
Oh, dude, no. Dude, I'm just like, I'm a vlogger. Video logger.
A vlogger?
Yeah, I got 132 channels on my... Hey, nice job, though, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine. You're doing it in a service right now. So just step back.
Oh, yeah. No worries. I'll get off the property. Yeah, no worries. Thanks, man. And great work. Great presence, man. I'm not here to rob you. I wouldn't know how to. I'd flip the truck and get under it with welding thingies, right? But hey, that's movie talk. All right, well, back to business. Now, G4S is not a bad company, and of course, I'm famous for my digressions. And if I'm sounding like Craig-Ferguson, well, he's the man as far as I'm concerned. This other fellow that was a really nice-looking guy, Craig. Was he Craig something? The guy with the yellow hair, and he goes off to try and make a movie or some shit. You know what? Here's my thing. There's two things, really. If you're really good at something, stick to it, but then at the same time, I gotta say, well, like Craig-Ferguson might say, how long are you going to stick to shit? Because at the point where you become a master, everyone else is a damn bozo, and you're like, what the hell am I doing here? Now, you can milk that shit like Al Pacino and turn into what he's turned into, which is, hey, neither good or bad or sad or glad. It is what it is, right? If he's some old washed-out man floating along on a cloud of glee for having completed such ventures as Dog Day Afternoon all the way till, let's say, what? Heat, 1996? Hey, listen. Anything that man does on screen is pristine. So my point once again being, why would he continue to pop out shit after shit and not enjoy the pleasure of it exiting his anal cavity? You know, my first love, Louisa, said something very interesting to me. She said, well, Husain, you understand, the thing with anal sex is that there's actually a muscle in there that gives a person severe pleasure when something's going in and out of it, and hence the pleasure of pooping. Now, my whole problem now is with this bike and with the... oh, did I mention the cart's mine too? Well, not the actual shopping trolley, but the said belongings inside. So I got two options, it looks like to me. The sensible one would be to grab the foam, backpack, put it on the back and onto the bike, shoot over to Panero, drop... Well, I can't drop the bike, I need a fucking lock. So I'm going to have to ditch this guy. I really don't want to. But you see, I got an opportunity to do something very interesting. A couple of really interesting things. First of all, unlike Craig-Ferguson, I believe in my Holy Scripture. Now, he was obviously raised a Christian. The reason I know that is because he's such a solid guy with good principles. Christian principles, I might suggest. This right here is what I call fart. It's called fart because it's art and it's free art. Now, it's obvious that this is a joke or some absurd molestation of reason, in the sense of why the hell would someone leave something like that? Now, on one hand, it's a nice piece of furniture. On the other hand, it's got a sticker on it. What sticker am I referring to? Well, this sticker right here is courtesy of the city of Vaughan trashmen. So if you try and trash something they don't want to pick up for whatever fucking reason, they're having their Jolly Roger Willies that day or whatever, and basically what they're going to do is they're going to put the sticker on it and it's a big fuck you. And this was on my landlady Lana's fucking property, you know. Lana, on the one hand, is the ultimate bitch, and on the other hand, she's la ultimero puta, as you might say in Spanish. She fucking fucked me so hard and so fast and so bad that she made Oracle, yes, the Oracle Corporation of Canada, look like a bunch of joking Winnie bags. You understand what I just said? Oracle let me go with a severance. Hey, Computer Associates let me go with a fucking 4-figure severance. Those fuckers fucked me, but hey, they paid me. You understand? This lady, I have to say she laid me. She fucking laid me. So I'm gonna have to leave that there. We're getting on the bike now, folks. This is gonna be a bit of a long one, but it's out of necessity and not to need to ramble endlessly. Now, the thing with this strap is very interesting too. Getting this on my back, the pack. It's interesting to me. And if you're watching this, it's either because you're a damn idiot or because I'm famous or something. I don't know. It's not that I'm trying to be famous. In fact, for a good time, I was trying not to be famous. But here's what it is. I dislocated this shoulder of mine. The the one that the bag's going on right now. Which would be what? The right one, obviously, for the job, right? And at the same time, so that's why that first strap's going on. But at the same time, there you go, right? So this shit, the foam, it's worth the hassle. Now, I got foam at home. This shit has the little spikes in it. Little spikes. Now, what does this amount to? It amounts to 1 evening's of malfeasance, in as much as getting on a fucking bus, and not one of them. The blue ones are the YRT, York Region Transit. Right now, well, I mean, I don't know if you might have zoned into this from outer space or something, or it's the kid in 2062 I keep talking about who might have, you know, one of these machines from the movie Deja Vu where he can look back in time and see what I'm doing or something, or maybe he just stumbled on the video, who knows. YRT, York Region Transit. What York am I talking about? What York Region? Well, it's the Greater Toronto Area, right? So Tim Hortons over there is a dead giveaway that you're in Canada. For some absurd reason, we've got a Starbucks practically on every fucking major intersection now. Not really, I'm exaggerating a bit, but if it ain't like that in fucking 10 years, and that's actually a conservative estimate, more like 5 to 10 years, then, you know, you can paint my willy-nilly. On the other hand, unfortunately, we don't have Timmy's down in the States. It's another case of corporate or fucking Yankee malfeasance. Just like fucking NAFTA, just like the timber lumbers and all this shit. What is it? Lumber fucking tariffs? So, that being said, let's make our way over there and see what happens. This is fart. It's free art. So, art is essentially anything that inspires emotion. Anything that gets a person to say, what the fuck is that? That's it. And to dwell on what kind of emotion and what the logical response to that emotional outburst is or whatever is pointless. Completely fucking pointless. It's not your job as an artist. Your job is to create an emotion. It's not even the emotion you're trying to create or any rubbish like that. Hey, listen to me. Emotion and thought. This is very interesting. I'm going to revert back to Zaidi boy, or rather my normal voice. Hey, the thing is with thought and emotion, they are connected in as much as you might have an emotional reaction that you need to think about, or you might think about something and then the more you think, the more emotional you get. Do you understand how cool it is what I just said? If you do, good for you. If you don't, then you won't. You won't. It's one of those things that's so damn simple and self-evident. You can dwell on it for your whole lifetime, and tomes could be written about it. TOMES. So I think we're done here. The whole purpose of this fucking escapade is like pulling out the camera just to try and figure out what the hell to do. Like, see, the thing is, I got talk too much itis, and that's with the letter 2. So it's TALK, then the number 2, and then MUCHITIS would be what it is. I hope one day Craig does see this shit. In fact, maybe I should send it to his producers and say, look what this man has done to me. I didn't even realize what happened. I just watched like 3 fucking episodes like a couple of weeks ago. When Lana the bitch kicked me out, kept my fucking money, basically put me on the street and all this rubbish. Say hi to the cameraman, or don't mind at least. So there you go. Now, Torontonians are very private, and my boy Danny just emailed me, and I was talking about the GTA. Right now we're in the York region. It's basically the the hobnob fucking section of town. You know, like it could well be the greatest or the, what is it, richest postal code. Now, don't mind me saying so. I have to say, it's one of these love-hate fucking things. And by the way, you cannot have love without hate, right? It's a law of opposites, and I'll talk about that sometime or write a book about that shit. I might as well point out that there's 4 things that you need to be apprised of. The more good you are to people, the more bad they are to you. The better you are, the harder life gets. Stop to smell the flowers the wrong way, by the way. It's not a bad piece of advice. The third thing is this. The more you want something, the less you have of it. The last one is the more you try and do something, the more you end fucking it up. You'll be like, that's pessimistic. And I'm not going to say, no, it's optimistic or any rubbish like that. I'm going to get on my bike and bike off as far away from you as possible, because it's another self-evident thing. We don't want things to be that way, but they are that way. You want something, it's going to elude you. You know, you're nice to people, they're going to hate you. You try to do something, you're going to fuck it up. And lastly, the better you are, the harder life gets. Okay, so this is New-Westminster Street, going up to Bathurst Street. It goes down to Steeles Avenue. I might as well walk up to the intersection and prance about like a damn idiot. Fool that I am, considering I've been blessed with this energy right now, and you never know. You never know. The Lord giveth and the Lord doth taketh away. We're approaching 12 minutes. I should be signing out any time now, but you never know. You never know. You just never know. I should be answering Dan's texts and all this rubbish, but you know, this is a good one. I need to explain something to you because I like representing Toronto. It's the greatest fucking city in the world. You understand? And I don't even need to talk to your dumbass if you come at me with any other proposition. I've been everywhere. I haven't been to New Zealand and I don't want to go there. The only other place that could, in my mind, possibly compete with Toronto is Australia. And you see, Toronto, obviously being connected to Canada, let's say Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane might hold a candle. Like, it'd have to be Sydney, right? Sydney might fucking hold a candle to Toronto, right? That's all. Now, my question would be, does Sydney have mad fucking hiking trails and all this shit? Probably not. Probably not. I live next to Rouge Valley right now, which is out in Scarborough, or what I like to refer to as Scarberia. It's going to take me 2 hours to get all this rubbish up there. Which is basically putting my bike like a damn winner onto a bus and shooting out over to, let's see, we're going to go to Steeles right now, which is probably somewhere in that area direction. New-Westminster. Actually, Steeles is down there, dear viewer. But I'm going to have to go to Bathurst and then Steeles, get on a bus, then go to Finch Station, which is probably about 15 minutes away. Once at Finch, I get on a 199, presuming that they run at this point in time, and that shit goes out to Scarborough. Now that shit's going to take about 30-40 minutes. From McCowan and, let's say, Shepherd, I'm going to get on yet a third bus, the 85, which is going to shoot me home. I live right next to Toronto Zoo. Fine fucking zoo. Hey, listen, I haven't been there, but I know it's a fine fucking zoo all the same, because this is Toronto. I was there like a couple of days ago for what it's worth, and, you know, for what it's worth, it seemed just fine and dandy. There were fucking kids, like scores, fucking literally busloads of kids coming out. I was there for like 15 minutes, hanging about outside, flirting, singing songs and all this rubbish. Being a general nuisance. I mean, more or less, the way I act and interact with the world is I basically stay where I want, do what I want for however long it takes me to cause enough trouble, it seems, that becomes, you know, untenable to stay there. I either get moved or I have to really move on. And of course, it becomes a point of, what it does is it becomes a case of figuring out what the most graceful avenue of escape is. So in this case, it's waiting for Danny Boy to show up with some weed, which I had forsworn previously, because, based on the fact that it really is dangerous for one's mind. There are people that become basket cases smoking weed. You might be like, it's natural, it's not a drug and all that kind of rubbish. But I have to say, listen, Whatever Craig-Ferguson says about this shit is what is. Because at this point, it's either Danny or Craig. I've told Danny he's my man. I'll only smoke weed with